What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to episode 10 of the single player Let's Play series. So, in this episode, I want to get equipped with slightly better armor. I've been exploring a lot, and I've done some stuff off camera in between episodes. It was reasonably tedious and not very interesting. I enchanted the rest of my tools, so at this point now, and I made a couple of mending books, so at this point now, all of my tools have mending, and we're doing pretty well right now as far as my tools go, but my armor sucks. It is the worst. It's pretty bad. So I want to fix that. I've installed a couple of mods in between and removed a mod that I was not impressed with, and have been kind of playing around with the mod pack a little bit here and there. But really nothing big has changed necessarily. One thing that I did have to do though is, remember last episode we made the enchanter with the dark steel we found. Then, in between episodes, in order to make a mending book, I'll show you the recipe that I followed. It was the enchanter recipe, much cheaper than the arcane and sorcellator, and it required an experience rod. Well, of course, these are all Ender IO alloys, which you can make in the alloy smelter, so we just have gold and soul sand, which you guys already know how to get, and gold, redstone, glowstone. Again, stuff we know how to get already. So I did that all off camera, but goodness, the simple alloy smelter is super slow. Very slow. Cannot even remotely emphasize enough how slow it is. So, at some point we'll upgrade and get that kind of worked around and fixed up and stuff. But what I want to actually get started with first is better armor. So, you know, I mentioned that our armor sucks, and I did actually die in between sessions because I was out like 3,500 blocks away, like that direction, I think, and got overwhelmed by a couple of mobs, and then my armor broke, so, and I was in some sort of pre-generated dungeon-y thing, so it was worth dying, because there was decent loot once I got back, but overall has been pretty meh. One other thing worth noting is that I've started avoiding taking any of the Ender IO loot, and have gotten rid of any Ender IO loot I already had. There's no option to disable it, and it's incredibly overpowered. So I didn't want to kind of cheese the game by saying, okay, great, I'll just take the free stuff. So I'm just going to not take that stuff, and it'll just be a personal choice of mine. So that being said, let's get started with how I want to upgrade my armor. So I think I'm going to do something that I haven't done in a while, because if we look at our armor options, we have Twilight Forest, which is Twilight Forest is locked behind the end, so we have to go through the end first, then we can go to the Twilight Forest. I'm not really worried about it right now. Whereas all this other stuff, and it's really cool, if you type armor, you'll see that it actually offers the tooltips, how all of these say +8 armor plus whatever armor, they'll actually show up. So pretty much all armor sets will show up by searching armor, for the most part. Some stuff that isn't will show up as well. But one thing that came to mind as far as choices that I think I'm going to follow, because there's a lot of stuff here. We've got, of course, the vanilla set. We have the Astral Sorcery, Mantle of the Stars. We have Blood Magic, kind of. Not all of it is showing up for some reason. That's odd. I wonder why. We have Clay. We have Dark Steel. Apiarist, which doesn't actually help. Faraday, which doesn't really actually help. Those are specialized sets. We have Psi, which we'll get back to. I think that's what I'm going to do. We have Redstone Arsenal, which we are miles away from currently. And then, of course, all of the Twilight Forest stuff, which is gated behind the end, so whatever. I think our best choice right now is to go with the Psi armor. It's reasonably affordable and very fun to get into. And we have Magical Psi installed, so all of the entire everything is reoriented around, you can see here it says recipe by Magical Psi. Everything from Psi is kind of reoriented around the concept of magic instead of magitech, if that makes any sense. It's just trying to go for pure arcana instead of like a magitech crossover. So you guys have seen me do Psi before, but it'll be a little different this time, so I think I'm going to drag you guys through it one more time. It'll be worthwhile though, I promise. So to get started, we need to, of course, make ourselves a couple of things. We need to get ourselves a rod constructor, which is going to be a piston. Do I have any just normal pistons around? I guess not. Okay, we'll grab a piston real quick. And honestly, I'm pretty excited to get into Psi again because we haven't done a lot of magic stuff yet, and I don't really want to skip straight through this pack doing just tech. I want to do quite a bit of magic if possible, and there's one magic mod that I have in mind that will eventually come around, I'm sure. So, I haven't checked the Dropbox for it lately, but I know that Thaumcraft has been in progress as far as the update process goes. So, yeah. So here we have our rod constructor. Now we just need to make ourselves an iron rod frame, and we can get started with rudimentary Psi. Now, I don't know if my Psi data has saved or not, probably, but it's been a while since I've used Psi, so... and I've also reset this computer a little bit ago, so I don't actually know. So this is the focusing rod. Remember, this used to be the first tier Psi gun, but now it's not a gun, it's an actual rod. That's weird. Okay, well, the flat render doesn't look too great for it, but whatever, we'll live. So, and I think I'm just going to go ahead and break this. It kind of feels out of place. I did get this while fighting a horde of zombies at one point. So I've been doing a lot of looting in between sessions. So once we get the Psi dust, we can move on to getting the spell constructor. We're going to need an empty map. Interesting. Why can I... What? That recipe doesn't seem right. Pretty sure that recipe is not right. But yeah, so we can get a couple of things going. And Psi will be very useful for a handful of reasons. See, that recipe didn't work. Of course it didn't work. That's not the right recipe. I don't know why it was showing up. But yeah, so exciting news, which is probably... I've got a really long queue of videos just kind of sitting around. So at the time of recording this is episode 10. I just released episode 5 a week ago, and I've still got 6, 7, 8, 9 pre-recorded. So just to give you a concept of... Right now, my shortage isn't footage, it's video edits, which I just haven't taken the time to do. A lacking feature on my part. Okay, so it looks like none of my Psi progress is saved anymore. Good. Probably, like I said, because I reset my computer and therefore my .minecraft folder. I didn't bring it over because I keep everything through multi-MC now. And have been for years. So chances are I didn't bring it with me, and therefore it's gone. And the .minecraft folder is where Psi keeps this data saved for pretty much ever. So makes perfect sense, and I'm not bothered by it. The researching and doing the vector math for it really isn't that awful. Other way. There we go. So this will get us a spell inscriber. I have no idea how to operate this. Now do I have an idea? Now I have an idea. So we need to make a couple of things. We're going to have to walk through this a little bit. You have seen me go through this a little bit before, and honestly, if I did just a video on trying to get all the way up to the Psi tiers that I'm wanting, then this episode would be like overwhelmingly Psi stuff, and I have other stuff I want to do. So I'm just going to pop in every now and then when I make big advancements, most notably getting Psi Metal and Psi Gem and... you know, stuff like that. So, and each time I do the focusing rod upgrades and stuff like that. So, otherwise, I'm just going to skip through the tutorial recordings. That way you guys don't have to suffer through what's basically going to be very monotonous otherwise. So, I'm going to make a couple of, what are they called? Are they still called spell bullets? Spell node. So again, all the recipes have been changed with Magical Psi, and I really like the feel that it gives with this new change style versus the old one. Not that I really cared, but again, 112 right now is sadly lacking on quite a few magic mods that have... it has plenty of magic mods. It just doesn't have very many in-depth magic mods. Like Thaumcraft. Thaumcraft was kind of like the king of all kings for that, and I don't know that much can really compare to it, honestly, but we can hope that maybe someday we'll get something better from the new Thaumcraft versions that might eventually come out. So, real quick before I go, because I know I just discussed cutting and coming back, I think I'm going to go ahead and do the next wand tier right now, which is literally the same rod, just... it's the same rod, but this time, since I'll have materials... I don't know why I did that. I still needed it. Since I'll have materials, I can actually make a couple of important upgrades to it. So we need that. We need 2 iron, 2 redstone, well, 2 iron and 3 redstone. So we can do that, and now we can make a couple of the upgrades that go with it. So we want tier 1 of this guy, tier 1 of this guy, and tier 1 of this guy. So again, this is all low tier stuff, but combined with each other here, we can actually start making ourselves a rod with slots that we can put stuff into. So I'm going to work on these spell nodes. Looks like it's just going to be, I'm going to grab maybe 12 of these. And we can just do, whoops, do 12, and then 12, and then it was wood. We'll do 12. I picked up a lot of spruce wood. Since we have chopped down, it's really easy. But I just don't really need it. What was the ordering for that? Something weird, of course. So there we go, and I'm going to grab a chest because I know that I'm going to want about this many in the future, but I don't necessarily need them now, so I'm going to store them up and pick them up as I need them, except for this guy. So now that we have a couple of things, we can go through and do debug and kind of play around with it. So I guess we can play around with this, and I'll be back in a little while. Alright, so we've gotten to Infusion, which is important. So this is just plain old Infusion, nothing special about it, but it means that we can take gold and turn it into psi metal. So if we just toss this down, we can infuse it and get ourselves a lot of upgrades. So that's why I went ahead and made 16. So at this point, we can look at psi again, and we can start looking at the mid-tier, I think. Yeah, so it looks like the mid-tier stuff is totally obtainable. Once we get up to these, we can't because it requires a psi gem. But as long as it's requiring psi metal, we're good. So let's look into upgrading our wand again. So we can do the psi metal rod frame. We can do a handful of things now, actually. So the psi metal rod frame is probably as good as we're going to get for a little while. Just because I don't really upgrade beyond that usually. I will eventually, but probably not immediately. We can do the medium rod notch. So that's going to be 3 wood and a piece of glowstone. I'm just going to grab a bunch of wood and just bring it with me. So we need medium. We want the bright rod crux. Bring a bunch of gold as well. So if we do, let's see, swift, no, I can do bright though. And then if we do the sparkling rod source, that should be good. And now we can make ourselves a much nicer rod. So this focusing rod, greatly upgraded because you see 4 slots and not a lot of efficiency or potency or anything, whereas this guy ups the ante quite a bit and we get a handful more slots. Super useful, and to avoid conflicting focusing rods, I'm just going to go ahead and toss the other one in there, and at this point we are good to go again. So I'm going to keep that infusion one. You'll end up needing it in the future. And now we have a couple of things readily available to us. Blaze, Torrent, Overgrow, a lot of cool stuff. So again, going to get back to it. Alright, so we are at the point of unlocking Greater Infusion. Another nice one. So I've made a couple in between. So we have Smite, which will smite whatever entity I am looking at. I don't think it counts if I have something in between me. Yeah. But it is still pretty cool. I have Blink, which you've seen me use before. Very useful for getting around places. I have Greater Infusion now, and then this is my debug for my last loopcast iteration, which is fine. So, now that we have Greater Infusion, we can do Psi Metal, and also we can do Psi Gem. So we'll make maybe 12 of these with our diamonds. And if we do Greater Infusion, that hurt just a little bit because our rod is not the greatest, but that is okay. We can now actually make it the greatest one if we want. At least at this tier, we have a lot of Since we've got the focusing rod, that's great, but, you know, there's a couple of things left. I'm going to go and make ebony and ivory. We can't really use this one until we've gotten to the end anyways, but that's okay. So I should have actually renamed that one. I don't know which one is which now. So this one will be, we'll do that for ebony and ivory, and then we'll do greater infusion for greater infusion, which is still the wrong name. There we go. So now we should have all the right stuff. We have smite, blink, our infusions, greater infusion. Do I just have, I don't have normal infusion though. I should just do that too. We'll do just normal infusion. And then we can do debug there, and that way we'll have all the infusion levels all together. So now we can have, you know, infusion, greater, ebony and ivory, debug. Again, doesn't really do anything yet. So this unlocks quite a bit of stuff for us, and I think this is about as far as I need to get currently, because I want the Psi armor. That's what I've basically come here for. So we can just go ahead and do this real quick. I think I should have a good majority of the stuff I'm going to need, although I'm going to need a decent bit more of the infused stuff. So let me, let's see, go ahead and get some of this stuff going. So we have our helmet, we're going to need the plate, we're going to need leggings, excuse me, and we're going to need boots. Now this stuff is wonderful because it has a decent armor rating. It looks pretty cool. See? It actually looks totally messed up. I wonder why. Weird. Very weird. That might be a MoBends thing. I installed MoBends to see if it would be neat, but I'm kind of thinking maybe not, if that's causing a problem. I'll play with that off camera. The point is that it at least provides armor. The looks are kind of just an aside, honestly. We have a lot of stuff in here I need to get rid of at some point. So, tangent aside, we can also do a couple of really cool Psi upgrades now to our wand that we just finished rebuilding. So this one is good, but there's one that's even better before we get to ebony and ivory. So let's do that one as well. We're going to need just a couple more things, but not a whole lot left, I promise. Let's grab a little bit more glowstone. We usually don't end up needing a lot of this stuff. So if we look at the greatest tier of stuff now, we can start making the great stuff. So we want the best of every tier. I also want to, I'm going to have to make another, so there's the ivory and ebony, which we can't make yet, but we can make another one of these. And I will make a varnish this time. So we're going to need bone meal. I don't know that I actually have any free, so we'll just make some. And then we needed... Let's see. We need some glass. We need some infused redstone. Just do that. And then an iron ingot. Okay, we can handle these things. Because the result of this is that instead of having spells that look based off of the Psi color set, which is this kind of lightish blue color over here, we can have spells based off of whatever color we want, which I would prefer white. And you'll see why once I get into some of the details. So we can go ahead and nab all of our different spell nodes out of this guy. You'll notice now we have all of them unlocked, which is perfect. Toss the old one back in here like we did last time. And you notice now, instead of it being blue, it's white. So this is perfect once we get to Conjur Light, which is a useful trick that I used to use a lot. I'll use it less this series. Yeah, we don't have it yet, but we'll get it soon. We have block broken. I'm trying to see if we get Conjur Light anytime soon. Invisibility, regeneration. These are negative effects. Conjuration. Here we go. Conjur Light is one of my favorites. We're right around the corner from it. So, pretty cool stuff. But for now, we at least get stuff like Blink, where we can go through. And, yeah. So it's very nice to be able to, you know, jump through blocks or jump around some if we need to. We have this armor now, which is going to get damaged a little bit, but as it gets damaged, it will repair itself using our Psi armor. So I just wanted to show you that Smite. That's that cool spell that I just made a little while ago. Get ourselves a Pigman. And yeah, so definitely some cool stuff there. Again, I like the Blink spell a lot because I can just do stuff like that whenever I need to. And yeah, so at this point, I'm just going to work on getting a couple more things to get all the way down to the end of the line of Psi stuff so that I don't have to have anything else kind of in my way between now and then. So I'll be back in another few minutes. Alright, so awesomely enough, I've finished through everything. That really didn't take as long as I thought it would. It only took literally like a half hour. So, for some reason I recalled it being a lot more tedious of a process. Now, it's worth noting that all of these armor sets, or armor components rather, can be enchanted. So, I'm probably going to do that. You guys know how that goes. So, let's see, did I leave lapis? Not enough. Just grab a couple of blocks more. There we go. That works for me. I've also been working on tweaking a couple of recipes in between sessions. So basically the biggest things are, there's the energy acceptor from Applied Energistics. There's the controller. And then there is... So, I've rebalanced a couple of the recipes with the chassis. These use steel now. These use organic machine powder casing, which I rebalanced this recipe to use ender pearl and lapis powder and a couple other things. The ME controller now requires some variety of circuit board with the engineering processors, the either Enderium or Vibrant alloy, and then the energy acceptor, whose recipe has also changed to require signalum and quartz glass, and then the normal flux crystal. So, just little changes that I've been making. I like to keep you guys up to date on what I do and when I do it. So, hopefully, that was the crappiest enchant. Wow. Hopefully we can get some good enchantments somewhere. So far, definitely not getting any good enchantments. Like, to the point that I'm going to have to disenchant this. Alright, so there's a good enchantment. Protection 4 is a great one. Unbreaking 3, always interesting. That's all I got on that? Seriously? So a couple of these I'm going to have to disenchant. But, yeah, not very thrilled with that. Not a good turnout. Let's grab 2 books. I'm running low on experience again. I'm probably going to have to go and break up some appetite or something. And we can go ahead and just toss this over here to this other one, which is full on power. And let's see, so all you gave me was fire protection and soulbound. That will leave me the soulbound and take off the fire protection, which is fine by me. Because I want a second chance at a couple of things. This guy, I want to try again. Fire protection. Nope, not a chance. Soulbound is not a great enchantment, but again, I have some other stuff too that we can apply, so that's nice. I do have a Protection 4 book, not much more than that. I've got Unbreaking, and I've got 2 Protection 2 books. So, I guess I can manually craft a couple of these things. I have an Unbreaking, couple of Unbreaking books. Unbreaking isn't a bad enchant by any means. It's just not the #1 thing that I go for when I'm enchanting things. Like, I can definitely do Unbreaking and Protection for the helmet. That's fine by me. I'm gonna go ahead and just... Oh, no, I don't want to do that. I'm gonna go ahead and just grab all of this stuff, and let's see. So if we do unbreaking, protection, that's going to cost 4 levels. That's perfectly reasonable. This already had unbreaking and soulbound. How does soulbound 3? Oh, that's right. There's 2 soulbounds now. This is so stupid that there's so many mods that have overlapping enchantments, and it's dumb. COFH Core has basically taken over the market of everything that freaking Ender.io has been doing, and it's dumb that they're just kind of taking over and doing their own thing when it's already a thing. Like, these features already exist. Soulbound on the leggings isn't bad if I can get Protection 3. So let's see about Protection 3. And then Soulbound, that's going to cost 4 levels. Soulbound, Protection 3, and then 6 levels to get Unbreaking on there. So Unbreaking, Soulbound, Protection 3. See, that's a tolerable set. So I want Protection at least level 3 on everything. The boots, though, these boots are so bad. I might just enchant a book, because I'm not going to settle for fire protection. I want protection. So, leech, fine, whatever. Soulbound, that's slightly promising, but honestly not really that promising. We'll see. Watch that be the only enchant. Deathstrider, still not really helping. Well, the one thing that I want is Feather Falling 4. This is like literally the only thing that I came here for. So it's going to be 19 levels of experience, 4 feathers, 12 lapis. I can do that. I think I have 4 feathers. And I know I've got 12 lapis. I need a book and quill, which is pretty easy to get a hold of. And 4 feathers, some lapis, feather falling, experience. I'm going to need not that much. It was 19 levels, wasn't it? Yep. Feather falling 4, and then I didn't get my protection, but that's okay. I can get what is this? The leech. I've got leech and unbreaking. Did I ever get unbreaking on these? I didn't. So I can put unbreaking, soulbound. Do I have? I've got some. Weird. I thought I had better stuff. Do I have any protection 2 for 2 levels at 13? Yeah, I'll take that. Protection 2 is better than nothing. We can always add to it later if I need to. No biggie. So we have protection, feather falling. I don't need leech, nor do I need these books, so we can clean up some of this stuff. Stop! I just want to get experience. So, 2? For protection 2. And then feather falling, that's going to cost 5. And then 6. There we go. Now the reason I wanted feather falling so badly, other than the obvious, is that per usual I have vtweaks installed, and vtweaks per usual allows you to add feather falling, and at feather falling level 4 or above, it will completely negate all fall damage at the cost of hurting your armor. So if I go way up here, you see my armor just took a decent hit on durability. My psi levels off here to the side are going to drop every now and then to repair, and you're going to see that this is slowly going to go from 230, it was like 231, so now it's slowly navigating up to 235. So, I can take a decent bit of fall damage using this method. I just can't take indefinite amounts. There is a limit, but it's pretty great. So I am going to... I've been having a hard time figuring out how to light this area. This is part of why I wanted to get into Psi. Now I can just do Conjur Light, and for the most part, we're in good shape. There's a couple places where I'm still going to have a bit of trouble. Maybe do that. That's still not helping that much, is it? What if I just put one here and then broke all of these? Yep, I can just do that. That's way easier. So if I just put the one there, lights up this entire center area. Very nice. So we've definitely made a good bit of progress this episode. I think I'm going to go ahead and call it there. I think we've done plenty, considering all the things that we've gotten done. All this armor upgrading has been very worth it, and definitely should not get quite so quickly messed up next time I go fighting mobs. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I know I enjoyed making it, and I will see you in the next one.